Hello Exiles, and this is Fusion Gaming, and welcome to the next video on our League Content Guide series. Now, today's episode is going to be discussing Harbinger. Now, from the video you can see in the background, Harbinger was introduced back in 3.0, which was when Path of Exile did a number on the community and decided to announce that they had been secretively making Act 5 in the background and started to show off all of the content that was introduced into Act 5, which the length of this section of the video for Act 5 is quite long, and you would think that's quite a bit. But then they introduced that you'll then be going to Act 6, and you'll be going to Lion's Eye, which obviously, as you can imagine, back as a new gamer, that would be awesome with all these new effects. But they don't stop there. Then they announced an Act 7, and an Act 8, and an Act 9, and then finally, the biggest and baddest, Act 10. So as you can imagine, this season was quite big in terms of the expansion. In terms of time-wise, it was around about the same time that Diablo 3 had introduced the Necromancer into their leagues and the new character class. Now, I have scoured the internet trying to find a video which basically shows off Harbingers in a league reveal video, and I cannot seem to find one. So you'll have to make do with this. So the next question that you're probably thinking is, what is a Harbinger? So a Harbinger is a immortal monster which you cannot hurt. Basically, a Harbinger will summon enemies from the ground in blue circles to fight you. They will empower those minions in different ways, and the only way for you to be able to kill the Harbinger is by killing their minions. By killing the minions, it then reduces the health of the Harbinger. Once you have killed him, he will then drop a selection of currency shards. Now, he can drop every single shard that you can think of that is in the game, all the way from a alchemy shard, all the way up to a mirror shard, which is obviously the most expensive. Now, frankly, I have never seen them drop a mirror shard, but I have seen them drop many fracturing shards, which we will discuss today. So as always, the next question is, how do I get Harbingers into my map? So, the first and foremost, the easiest way is by using scarabs. The whole assortment of scarabs that there are. So you can use a rusted to add in 2, a polished to add in 3, a gilded to add in 4, and then add 7 with a winged. You can also use the map device. I don't believe that the Harbinger is on the map device this league, but if any doubt, you can just spec into 7th gate and you can unlock an additional 3 Harbingers there. So if you was to run a Harbinger here with 7 and then that means that you would have 10 Harbingers within your maps. As always as well, you can also add Harbingers from the Atlas tree. Now there is a node here which provides an additional Harbinger, so that means that your maps would now have 11 Harbingers, and these little small nodes have a chance to drop additional currency. There's one up here which provides you with 60% cooldown. What that means is that the Harbingers will spawn monsters faster out of the circles, out of the ground. So that usually means that you will complete the encounter faster if you put spec into this. Also, this node is very powerful. The currency shards can be dropped as currency. So basically, if it was to drop let's say a fracturing shard, it can roll the dice and it may actually drop you an entire fracturing orb instead of a shard, which at the moment, a fracturing orb, the last time I checked, was like 30 divine. So that is a big drop if that happens. There is another point up here for Harbinger which provides you with a powerful Harbinger, which says that there is a 25% chance to be replaced by a powerful one. They, I believe, are the only 3 sections that are related to Harbingers. As always as well, you can use a Sextant to get this node here, which says that map bosses drop additional currency shards, Harbingers drop additional currency shards, and then finally map bosses are accompanied by a mysterious Harbinger. So once you get to the actual boss or the boss arena, there will then be an additional Harbinger in the room with the boss. So that then kind of puts your grand total to 12 Harbingers in total that you can then include in your maps. Now this is the 4-use one that you can roll. The 16-use one has absolutely no benefit in terms of it apart from the uses. There is no additional Harbinger, there is no additional shards, it's exactly the same. So for the cost of it, you might as well just run this one. If you're rich and you want to go for the 16-use and you want to save time, then you can go for the 16-use one. Now there are 2 memories that you can run, so if you do like running Harbingers, there are 2 to pick from. The first one is Kirak's memory of Farrell that says area contains additional Harbinger portals, and Harbinger portals drop additional currency shards when destroyed. So what will happen is when you're in the map, there will be multiple portals next to each other. You can have 2, 3 or 4 Harbinger portals next to each other, and they will constantly spawn a Harbinger and they will constantly spawn monsters. Once you've destroyed and you've killed the Harbinger, the portal itself will then break and it will then drop a ton of shards on the floor. The second memory, which I feel is the most important and the best one at the moment, is Kirak's memory of Survivor's Guilt, which, as he says here, players in areas take on the form of a Harbinger, so you become the Harbinger, and items found in the area are replaced by stacks of currency shards. So anything that drops is currency shards rather than regular items, but that means that you will then walk out of that map with every single type of currency shard that you can think of, and you can get multiple currency shards and fracturing shards from this memory if you juice your maps properly. As you can see the difference in chaos, this one is actually currently 249 chaos, whereas the other one was only a couple of chaos. That is the difference. Now, another way that you can run Harbingers, and this is if you like to run them, is there is actually a dedicated map just for Harbingers, and that is called the Beachhead Harbinger map, which, as you can see on there, it says area contains 6 additional Harbingers. Now, that is around the actual Beachhead area. Then once you get to the main arena, you will then usually fight, I think it's around about 5 to 6 regular Harbingers, and then at the end of it, you will then find a kind of a king or powerful Harbinger that will then be taken on at the end. Once you've killed him and all of his minions, it will then drop currency shards all around the arena, and you have also a chance for it to drop a infused beachhead, which we will go through in a second. Now, the way to get this beachhead is you have to run Harbinger orbs. You have to get Harbinger orbs first of all, and you have to have a tier 15 map. Okay, not tier 16 because I've just tried it on these. So you get a tier 15 map, and as it says here, reforges to be a higher tier. But because it's a Harbinger orb, there is a chance that it will turn the map into a beachhead. So watch, I'm just going to do it here. There we go. First one turned it into a Harbinger map. And again. That one didn't, that one didn't, that one didn't, no, 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 and no. So the first 2, though, were perfect. But that is I don't know what the chances are, but it's something stupid like 1 in 10, 1 in 15 or something like that, I think. So we've got 3 Harbinger maps here, and as I've said, you can then obviously drop an infused beachhead map. Now, an infused beachhead map, as you can see here, is very expensive, 37, 38 divine at the current price, and what it does provide you with is monsters have got 100% life, they do 100% increased damage, they drop an additional Harbinger scroll, and the area contains 20 Harbingers. So instead of just having 6, you now have 20. Then you have the additional 5 or 6 that are in the main arena, and you have the boss. So there's like 25 to 26 Harbingers in this map. Now, you cannot modify this map, you cannot add any more, but this is the most amount of Harbingers that you will get in a particular map. Obviously, running regular maps, as you saw earlier, you can probably only get around about 11 Harbingers in total. Obviously, 10 from the Scarabs, 1 from the tree, and then you may then have the chance for that to be increased. You can also potentially run the Sextant, which will then give you a further Harbinger at the map boss arena, so that then puts it to 12. But as you can see, the beachhead here gives you 20. So that is the difference, but it is quite expensive and it is quite rare, but it only drops from the regular beachhead map. So if you was to run that over and over and over and over, you eventually at some point during the league would drop an infused one. Now you have a choice. You can either sell it or you could run it. It's entirely up to you. And that is basically it, guys. So if you've enjoyed the video, throw us a like, throw us a subscribe. I will be doing every single piece of content as you've seen, or if you've not seen, if you go check out my channel, I've done a video for every single piece of content that was prior to Harbingers. So we did strong boxes, we did Beyond, we did Tormented Spirits, Essences, Breach, but it's not just that. I have a bunch of other stuff on there. I've got build guides on there. I've got information in regards to bulk selling tools. There's a bit of information there about the TFT drama. I did a first reaction the other day to Last Epoch, because Last Epoch's release is just around the corner. Obviously the new news from GGG that they're going to be itemizing stuff, so that's obviously on there as well. I've got a few build guides on there from stuff that I've done through the league, so go check out my channel. There's a ton of content on there, and there's also a Act guide series as well, so there's help to do with juicing maps, and there's also an Act series guide which is at the bottom there, where I did all of the acts faster, and I will be revisiting this in the next couple of weeks before the next league starts. So before 3.2 before the next 3.2 league, I will be doing them again, and I will be taking on board everything that I learnt from all of the comments and everybody that watched my videos and made comments and told me little tips and tricks that even I didn't know. I'm going to redo it again. I'm going to do every single act again from start to finish, through 1 to 10, to help people get through it even faster. Well, I want to try and make it as slick and as smooth as possible, and we will see. There may be some people that then may provide me with some more tips, so then at the beginning of the following league, which we'll do it again, but the following league will be around about the time that Path of Exile 2 beta is going to be released, and I will have then a brand new campaign to then wrap my head around and learn. So I will have to speedrun that quite a few times, I think, to kind of understand it and learn it inside out, at which point then I will then do a Act guide series for Path of Exile 2, and I will provide you with a guide on how to get through Act 1 all the way through to Act 7, I believe, and that will be done at some point when the Path of Exile 2 is released. Until the next video, guys, we will be continuing this league content guide series over the next couple of weeks, and the next one that I will be doing for yourselves, we will be covering off Abyss. Now, I know that Abyss has been played a hell of a lot in this league, with the Spires, with the Abyssal Depths and everything, so a lot of people will be pros when it comes to Abyss this league, but what I will do is I will cover it off anyway for anybody that doesn't know about it, and we will carry on from there. And after Abyss, it is then Beastery League, which is the league that I started. So that's going to be a fun one to kind of take myself back, a bit of nostalgia for me. So until the next video, guys, stay sane, Exile.